What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to discuss with you the two main differences between Tonal and Speediance. The only thing that stays consistent is the grind. Keep on grinding. When many people look at the Speediance and the Tonal, the only thing that they kind of see that is majorly different is the fact that one is made in the United States, the other is made in China, and then the fact that one has to get bolted to your wall and the other one is mobile. Now that is a huge difference that really changes the game in my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because if I'm given the option to choose between something that I have to bolt to my wall and can't move around, between that and something that's mobile where I could literally push this out of my room, roll it in fact out of my room because it has wheels, and put it in another room in a completely another apartment or whatever the case is, I'm going to choose the mobile one every single time. So that makes a huge difference in my life, that convenience. I don't have to pay to have people install it. I don't have to pay to have people screw it up. I'm not dependent on the company to come and do their jobs correctly or not correctly. I've had my Tonal moved in the past, and that was a complete nightmare that you guys can go check out, where I complain in multiple videos talking to you about my horrible experience in doing so. But today we're going to be talking about those two main differences, like I said, the weight assessment portion and the activity tracking. The Tonal is an incredible machine. There's no denying it. I spent about a year on my channel only talking about the Tonal, and that's because there's so much beauty to that machine. But the Speediance Gym Monster does have beauty in itself. It is a little bit different. Now, the weight assessment on the Tonal machine is fantastic. You'll turn it on. I've actually done a video on it if you want to check it out. You'll turn that machine on. It's going to give you multiple movements, and it's going to ask you to perform those movements in order to assess your strength and give you a baseline weight. And in conjunction with that weight assessment, an amazing thing about Tonal is it will automatically increase or decrease your weight, which could be a blessing or a curse, and we'll get into why, but it will automatically increase or decrease your weight based on the amount of reps that you want in a particular set. So for those of you who are not too seasoned when it comes to training, many times people will choose a rep range depending on what they want their goal to be. So typically a lower rep range will focus more on strength. Typically a higher rep range will focus more on muscle size, for example. These are just two quick examples of where rep ranges might come into play. There's many other reasons why they might come into play. Tonal will actually increase and decrease the weight based on the amount of reps you choose for that particular movement. So for example, if you're doing a bench press and you want 12 reps, Tonal will do its best to give you the amount of weight that you need in order to complete those 12 reps and those 12 reps alone. Absolutely incredible technology. Something that changes the game for most people, because many people, they'll walk into a gym, they'll pick up a weight, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're lifting up the 40-pound weight when they can only pick it up twice. They don't know why they're lifting up the 5-pound weight when they can do 50 reps of the 5-pound. They have no clue what is good for them or their goal. They don't even have goals half the time. So the fact that Tonal can choose the proper weight for you is game-changing. There are a couple flaws that come with that, though. The first flaw is that it's not always accurate. There have been many times where even after my assessment, I've had to redo my assessment to try to calibrate my weight properly. We're ever-changing beings, so one day we'll be stronger, the next day we'll be weaker. Now, your average weight and those weight ranges will change based on the amount of reps that you choose for Tonal, but even still, it's not always accurate. There have been many times where I've chosen a 15 rep range and I'll be getting 25 reps on a movement. Now, the machine will automatically adjust. But now when it automatically adjusts, the weight is actually too heavy for me to do 15, so I have to manually choose the weight, even though Tonal has the intelligence to change the weight for you. Let me know, guys, has this been the same situation with you in your experience if you've used Tonal in the past? Now, Speediance also has a weight assessment. That weight assessment is going to have you do multiple movements in order to kind of estimate where your average weight should be, what you should be lifting. However, it will not be able to automatically increase or decrease your weight, at least not yet. Because these machines are intelligent and the companies can download software into them, I would not be surprised if in the future, Speediance had the same type of technology where it could actually automatically increase or decrease your weight based on the amount of reps that you're doing. But currently, it does not do that. It does not automatically change your weight. It can assess your weight. And I've actually done the assessment in the past, and unfortunately, I was not happy with the assessment. In my opinion, it was a bit confusing, and it didn't actually give me the weight that I was supposed to be getting, just like with Tonal. So even though these machines can really try to get close, they're never going to get as close as what you will be able to dial that machine into. They're never going to know better than you. So the main thing that I can tell you is you need to know what your goal is and how to manipulate the weight in order to achieve your goal. As I mentioned, the weight assessments aren't always accurate, and Speediance might actually build in an easier to use weight assessment in the future with the capability of changing the weight automatically based on your reps. Please guys, forgive the bells in the background. I actually live in Mexico and I live in the center of a major city. So we have the bells going crazy right now because it's probably some kind of a holiday or it's just another Tuesday. The Tonal and the Speediance company are both incredible because they're putting out amazing pieces of machinery. Another company, however, that is putting out amazing pieces of machinery is Mueller Sports. Mueller Sports is a family-owned company that has been working since 1959 in order to help you with your pre-workout, post-workout, and rehabilitation needs when it comes to your training, whether it's a conventional sport like soccer or whether it's more unconventional like maybe boxing or weightlifting. Mueller Sports has tapes, gel wraps, and compression technology. Not only can this technology help you to warm up and cool down, but it can also help you with injuries. As I've mentioned in a previous video, my hip was actually thrown out of place and I was hardly able to even walk. But because of this technology, I was able to get back up on my feet within a week, where normally it'll take me about 2 weeks to recover. Pre, post, warm up, or cool down purposes, Mueller covers your recovery totally. Make sure to check them out in the link in the description today. Now, Tonal has some very detailed activity logs, whether it's on the machine itself or even in more detail on the Tonal app. Now, I've done a video talking about the Tonal app in the past, and it really is incredible. It can tell you the exact weight for every single rep that you performed. It can give you the dates, the times. It gives you a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I'm not like everybody else. I never really used it. I made a couple of programs. I didn't care for the fact that it was so detailed. This is great for people who are data-driven. I'm not necessarily data-driven. Tonal is the way when it comes to this. Now, Speediance, it's different. It's much less detailed. They give you activity trackers where I can choose the date on a calendar, and they're gonna give me the average of what I lifted. For example, if I do 12 reps, on the Speediance, they're going to take the average of the amount of weight that I did for those 12 reps, and they're going to give you the average of how much weight I lifted and so forth. Everything is kind of general. Tonal is going to give you a much more specific training log, which is fantastic. I personally never used it, but it's great to have. Why I don't necessarily think it matters is because, again, Speediance can always update their firmware or whatever it's called, software, firmware, or whatever, and they can bring that function to you in the future, whether it's on an app or whether it's on the machine. I look forward to Speediance getting there, which I'm sure they will in the future. They give them a little bit more time. Tonal's been around for a much longer time. Right now, Tonal's training logs are much more advanced, but I do believe that Speediance will get there. Personally, again, I don't use it. I never look at the calendar and say, how much did I do on this day? If anything, the only thing I do is I use the calendar to tell me when the last time I trained was. For example, because of my recent hip injury, I haven't trained in about 7 days because I've been giving myself time to recuperate. I don't want to throw my hip out again. That's good to know. It'll give me that information. But do I think it's a deal breaker? No. And the reason why is because this machine has the capability, the Gym Monster has the capability of being everything that Tonal is and more, which they've already proved they already are more, because you're not bolting this thing to a wall the way you have to do with Tonal. So this company has been more innovative than Tonal, even though Tonal's been around for years and years and years. So naturally, I would assume that they're going to try to build themselves up in time to becoming more amazing as far as these two aspects that we just discussed than Tonal ever will be. So these are the two main differences, in my personal opinion, that are going to cause you to either choose a Tonal or a Speediance machine, whether it's a Gym Monster or a Gym Pal. Aside from the fact that this one is actually mobile and you can move it around. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and don't forget to check out Mueller Sports for all of your post, pre, and recovery needs when it comes to your training. Talk to you guys soon. Be safe and catch you all at the next video.